Hi guys, it's been a while since I've done a video and I've been actually really missing you and wanting to do this. I actually don't have my board right now. Unfortunately it's in storage, but I still wanted to share things that might help you. So let's do this. Some books I like. I'll say it twice. Okay, I'll first say it like the anglicized way and then I'll say it, the Spanish way. It's called Adelante. Okay, the book is called Adelante. Adelante. Uno y dos, right? So there's 1 and 2 for the Adelante series. I think it's a really good book. They usually use it like at community colleges, some that I've seen. I'll also put it in the description below. I really like that book. You can get it on Amazon. You can buy it direct from the seller or the company that makes it. And then when you buy it from the company that makes it, they give you a code. And then you can do the online activities as well, which can be helpful if you're learning independently. So there's that. And then there's another book. It's called En Español. En Español. In Spanish, okay? And there's a 1, 2, I think it goes up to level 4. I actually like the book. I think I like the Adelante better, but I really like En Español. Also, I've been using it with some students, and there's some really good things in there. So there's that as well. So those are some good books, and like I said, children books are always really good. Kind of how I see language learning. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but I go, different places and then I meet people and sometimes they just start talking to me in Spanish, whether it's a restaurant, they just really friendly, want to get to know me, asking questions about my life. And then when they find out that, Spanish isn't my first language, I learned it myself, they're like, oh my God, they're all shocked, and so, I think my Spanish is pretty good. I'm sure anyone can improve anything they do, right? If you could be a soccer player, you could be super good at soccer, and you could always be better, right? Or whatever you're doing, Anywho, so I've been given a lot of compliments, and so I know that you can learn Spanish formally through grammar and books, which is the way I've done it. And not to say like, oh, I did it this way so everyone can, but I really feel that you can, because I'll tell you how too. So, okay, vocabulary. Vocabulary. Grammar. Grammar is your friend. Don't be afraid of it. And obviously, the most beloved of all, the conjugations. You really need to learn your conjugations, okay? So, okay, grammar would be like the por y para, the difference, between por y para, right? And obviously, conjugations, you can still consider it grammar, but I'm just going to try to distinguish between the three. You got to really learn those verb conjugations. Present tense AR. Learn them. That's where you're going to start. Present tense AR more or less is where you're going to start. Learn those AR verb endings. Learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it. Once you've learned it and you know it, people think I'm crazy when I, repeat myself like 5 times, but then they just do their own thing and then learn the conjugation, the tense first before you go to something else. This is key. I've seen students time and time and time again, they're frustrated because they're jumbling all the tenses, okay? Do not jumble your tenses. If you're learning on your own, I would even say, if you're just learning because it's a hobby and you just want to learn, I would even say something as extreme as stay with the present tense for a year before you jump to another tense and then you're just so confused with everything, okay? So this is what I want you to take away from this. Learn one tense, really learn it before you jump to the next tense. That means know the irregular verbs, know the important irregular verbs. People don't want to do this. People don't want to do this. They don't want to sit down and study. People say, oh, my Spanish class, they just, teach grammar and we don't have practice. And then I tell people, you want to practice? Let's practice. And they're like, oh, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say that. I'm like, yeah, because you haven't sat down and learned your verbs. You need to, how can we practice? It's like if you haven't even mastered the basics. Like even in soccer, right? I never played soccer formally, but I imagine, first you learn how to dribble, you pass the ball, you do a lot of drills, right? And almost everything, you do drills first before you do the scrimmage, before you do the game, right? You need to know the basics before you can go to the big leagues, right? So you got to do that. Don't be afraid of drills. I've had students from different countries say, in America, depending, where they're from, they're like, there's not enough drills, there's not enough, homework with a lot of exercises, because I've worked with students from other countries where, I'm not going to go into this whole, thing about who's right, what country's right, but I'm just going to tell you what I think. That there are students, 8th, 9th grade, they're already in calculus. Usually in America, it's in 12th grade, senior year, people go to calculus. And I don't want to get into a big discussion about that, but what I'm saying is those drills can really catapult someone to learn things faster and learn them very well. And a lot of those students were very comfortable with math, and it's because of the drills. I talked to the parents, I talked to the students, and they were like, drills, they were really good. So, other people have issues with that, but whether it's, some maybe places do take it overboard, but confidence is developed through like repetition, right? You keep throwing the free throw, and I'm sure there's more than just like throwing. I'm sure there's, tips they give you and different things you can do, but like, you don't just go, no baseball or any kind of player, basketball, soccer, whatever, you don't just go play a game, right? There's all kinds of practice, all kinds of drills that you do till you get to that. So instead of just like, oh, I just want to practice my Spanish, okay, well, let's do the basics. Let's build the basics so you have those, then you can execute. And they say, well, I think learning a second language should be like a first language. Well, in some ways it is, but think of even a baby, because I've worked a little bit with children, with babies, and I've observed them closely. A baby is not stupid. A baby is, honestly, they're precious and they're very aware. Just because they don't have the muscles yet, in their mouth, or they don't have the complete skills to really produce those sounds yet, or whatnot. But, in the first year of life, the second year of life, maybe around a 3-year-old starts to really kind of talk and say things. So for about 3 years, they're listening, right? So it's not like in the first language, there is no time where there is just kind of listening and intaking of information. A baby doesn't just come out of the womb talking. So try to take that a little bit into account, because people think, oh, and of course the first language is natural. We do learn it naturally. And if you do have the opportunity to go and live in a country for 5 years or 1 year or whatever, that's great, do it, that's fine. But some people don't have that luxury, and some people do want to be able to speak a little bit and have some confidence before they go, because they're going for work or for whatever the situation is, and they don't want to just kind of throw themselves. And I personally would be kind of nervous if I had like no knowledge of Russian and they sent me to Russia. It might be an adventure, it might just be really stressful and kind of scary. So going back to the little system I was talking about, verbs, right? People learn the verbs. And how? Okay, so the question of how comes. I find that some worksheets and some things that I see are like so ridiculous. Like, oh, match this to this. I'm like, okay, this is just confusing and it's not helping any student. It's very, very simple. Very simple. Okay, there's a worksheet maybe with 20 questions on it. It can maybe take 10 to 15 to 20 minutes to do, or 5 to 20 depending on how fast you are. It's like yo, and then there's a verb, right? And then say the verb is querer, to want, right? Yo quiero ir a la playa, right? I want to go to the beach. The teacher or whatever, and I'll even talk about where you can get these worksheets. Yo blank ir a la playa. I want to go to the beach. So then the verb is querer right here at the end, to want, right? So what your job is to do is to put that in. And in the present tense, say you work on your ARs in the beginning, right? You do ARs for a while, until you master those. Just those fill-ins where it's just like you're conjugating the verb. Sometimes you need to know what the verb is in the sentence. Or or you can just look it up. But for most part, if you're practicing it, should be stuff that you kind of have learned, and that's why you're practicing it. You just do the conjugations in the next sentence, and then you just do the conjugations. Some good sites, you know, I kind of like the studyspanish.com. From what I've seen, there's some free content, and then if you pay, I think you get more content, you get more practice and more quizzes. Some of the stuff I've seen there is good. Dr. Lemon, I like her site. I don't know if she has that many exercises, but some of her stuff is good. I mean, yeah, so some of those sites I've been like, okay, yeah, some of the stuff is really decent, so go ahead and check that out. What else did I mean, yeah, if you just Google, you know, Spanish exercises, AR present tense, you just practice those for a few months or what. I mean, I don't know what your timetable is, how long you have to learn that. AR verbs, then learn the ER verbs, and then learn the IR verbs if you're really going to do organized. I think when I learned it, technically, I think we learned the verb querer, to want first, and then mostly AR, then ER, then IR that came. Then you learn the present tense. Another thing is, when you're learning the tenses and the verbs and the vocabulary should kind of match. Like if you're saying, I think the reason we learn to say querer, I want, is because it's such an important thing. Well, why do you speak in life? A child expresses their needs, right? So like our first vocabulary list was activities. Yo quiero hablar con la maestra. I want to speak with the female teacher. Yo quiero andar en monopatín. I want to ride a skateboard. Yo quiero ir a la playa. I want to go to the beach. Tú quieres bailar conmigo. You want to dance with me. So it was a bunch of phrases. So what is this? You need to learn the verb, right? It kind of matches with the phrases. And what I'm trying to say is the vocabulary and the verbs, there need to be a relationship with them. For example, like we learn the verb querer and we learn the activities because they kind of go together, right? If I'm learning the verb now ser, like to be, he is tall, then you need to learn adjectives, right? Él es alto, he is tall. Ella es alta, she is tall. So they have to kind of match. So you're kind of growing in a logical manner, right? If you're learning this and then that and it doesn't match, you kind of learn these little, you take the verb and you take the phrases and you kind of make sure that they match. And that's why I kind of like the some of those verbs, some of those books I mentioned, because they are pretty good. But none of the books I have used, even though some of them have been good, I don't think they are. I think they still need more. They need more exercises. And I am really trying to put a program together. And I always give people other websites, other things. I always, you know, try to, whatever I see good that's already, any website or book that's already out there that I think is kind of good, I always tell people about it. I mean, it's fine, you know, do whatever works, you know. There's not a program I feel that has been put together from A to Z where a person can just go like, okay, day 1 or step 1, this is what I do. Day 2, this is what I do. And I'm really trying to work on something like that. It's an incredible amount of work, and obviously I still have to work and do other things, and it's like, and I just really want to do this because I know I feel there's a gap in the marketplace, and so many people have been asking me to do it. And you know, if I could just, you know, take some time off and just really work on this so hard, I would be so happy, because I feel like people really want to learn Spanish and they need to learn Spanish, and it's a passion for people. For some people it's a necessity, and I just feel like I could really help people, and a lot of people have asked me, so I just feel blessed that I've been able to learn Spanish. I want to share it with other people, the artists, the singers, the movies, the books. When you get to that level, it's just amazingly enjoyable. But even if you're just at the level where you can communicate and you can, you know, go to another country, it's just very rewarding. So I'm going to end this video because my time is going to run out. But I hope this has been helpful for you, just some kind of overall tidbits. And then I still want to really make those videos and get the details and get the whiteboard and you know, to help you guys get to the next level. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope this brought you value. Thank you.